I was taking some classes at Jones County Junior College, and I needed an elective, so I took pottery. I figured it would be full of girls, and I was right. It was full of girls and about two or three other guys, and I made friends with one of them in particular, and went and hung out with him at his dad's shop. His dad was a stained glass artist, and they had just gotten into blowing glass. And I spent a lot of time hanging out in the shop. Finally got on the payroll. Worked with him going through college. Got out of college. Went and worked in the medical field. Didn't like that at all. Finally went back to working with him for off and on 10 years, learning the skill of doing stained glass, mostly churches, from jobs that he had bid. But I did a lot of stained glass for him, but I also did anything else at his house that needed to be done. You know, weed eat, feed the chickens. He had this greenhouse that he had built out of salvaged lumber off of Katrina. He had a wood mill come and cut the lumber off his property. In a greenhouse, untreated lumber, after a couple of years, it started rotting, needed to be replaced. So on October the 14th, 2014, I was on top of that greenhouse, repairing the panels to replace the rotten wood. I fell through about 20 feet or so, broke 3 ribs, one of them punctured my lung, broke my clavicle, and I fractured everything from here to here, sustained a traumatic brain injury, and really put me out of commission for quite some time. About a year after my recovery, I was able to get my hands onto someone who had done stained glass for themselves, and I was able to buy all of their material. And so that's when I started drawing up things on my own, and eventually started selling things on my own. And it is really, for me, has been very, very therapeutic. You know, dealing with the traumatic brain injury, and now my art is my passion, and I work on it daily. I strive to try to be able to do this for a living. I'd been doing stained glass in my recovery for a couple of months, and one morning, a friend of mine, Greg Prine, he lives in downtown Hattiesburg, and he walks his cute, real cute little white dog Gobo, And he was walking through this parking lot, and he started seeing these small pieces of green tinted glass mixed in with the rocks and what have you. And he started following this trail, and he found a spot to where I assume that, you know, 100 years ago, when you could return your Coke bottles for probably a nickel, 10 cents perhaps, if they were chipped or busted, that they would go and dump them. I'm guessing that was somewhere a little out of town on the Gorge Creek. It's off of McLeod Street in downtown Hattiesburg. And the way it is there's a parking lot about 5 feet down, and water's coming off of that parking lot and running off to a bottom parking lot. And all the water has pushed the dirt to expose those bottles. So as Greg walked up, he started seeing these pieces of these antique Coke bottles. And very grateful that he thought of me and called and told me about it. And so I went up and scooped me up a couple. You know, me wanting to build up my business and be a stained glass artist on my own right, I was like, I've got to find something to do with these bottles. I know that I could find something to do. So I love living in downtown Hattiesburg and finding these bottle bottoms literally 3 blocks from my house. I've also noticed riding around these cars, they've got these stickers of the old sign that was on top of one of the hotels, Hattiesburg the Hub. And it's got Hattiesburg in the middle. And then below that it's got Gulfport. Off towards the east you got Mobile, Meridian, Jackson, Natchez, New Orleans. And I want to recreate the Hub City sign. There was a bottling company in every one of those towns. So I've got the bottles. I've got to figure out my design and how I'm going to make it happen. But that's one thing on down the line that I'm pretty excited about.
Your Pine Bell Pickers salute you. We're going to go out on this one. Thank y'all for listening. Go down to the Mississippi River. I gotta go down to New Orleans. Have a lot of fun in the old French Quarter and spend my money on a voodoo queen. Well, I worked all week and just got paid. Looking for something to do. The wild hair crawling up my back and my feet are dancing too. I got the second line playing in my brain with a marching band parade. I feel like drinking a hurricane while I'm kicking it in the shade. Gotta go down to the Mississippi River. Gotta go down to New Orleans. Have a lot of fun in the old French Quarter. Spend my money on a voodoo queen. Evening off at the BBC, hitting paddles on the way. Should I get that lucky dog or a big bowl of etouffee? I really love that blacksmith shop. It's my favorite bar or pub.